Bonjour Year 9 and welcome to the GCSE options overview for French. So the main question that I often get asked is, why do we need to study another language? What's the point? Everyone around the world speaks English. Well, here are a few examples of the different skills that it will help with. So better communication, cultural awareness, maths skills, for travel, for memory, and so on. You can see them there, I don't need to read through them all. However, the most important thing to remember about studying another language is about being able to communicate with people in different parts of the world, and therefore not only develop your career prospects, but also develop your skills as an individual. Here are just a few examples of people whose names you may recognize who speak more than one language. Some of them are sports, some of them are actors and actresses, some of them are singers. But they all speak more than one language because either they've had to out of necessity or they've chosen to because it developed their career and their career prospects. Also, there's a little link at the bottom there. For you boys who are sure that language isn't for you, have a look at the different footballers who can speak more than 4 languages on the video below, and I'll see you on the next slide. In a modern and increasingly global world that we live in, speaking a language is seen as a great asset. But it's not just the language itself, it's the accompanying skills that come with it which are attractive to employers and also to universities. You can see from the information on the slide facts such as 75 million people speak French. It is the only language together with English which is taught in every school of the world. And of course, surprisingly, 1.5 million people in the United States are native French speakers. It is, after English, one of the most important languages and therefore why we study this particular one. The course will assess the 4 main skills: reading, writing, speaking and listening, each with equal weighting. These are the same skills that you've been working on in Key Stage 3, so none of it should seem different to you. There are 3 main areas that we look at: identity and culture, local, national, international and global areas of interest, current and future study and employment. Some of the topics that you will see there will be topics that are recognisable to you from Key Stage 3. So what we're doing at Key Stage 4 is often building on the foundations of Key Stage 3. So some of the vocabulary and some of the grammar will be very familiar to you. So it won't all be new. Here are some quotes from students who studied French lessons. They like the fact that they can explore different ways to learn the language, and it's not all about written work. The fact that we use websites such as Kahoot makes it much more interesting. They like the fact that they can get into discussions and that everyone's involved and that they can get instant feedback. They like surrounding themselves with the recordings of native speakers that we use in the listening exercises. One of the topics that people find quite interesting is the festivals, because it gives some insight into the different cultures of France. And I like this one at the bottom, when they find it funny that they find a word which is really similar to their own language, but actually means completely the opposite. I thought we'd have a look at some frequently asked questions, just to put your mind at rest. So for example, I don't like speaking. Will I have to do a speaking exam? Well, unfortunately, yes, you will have to do a speaking exam, but it is done with the normal class teacher, and it's not done in front of the class. You will have practiced over the 2 years, and so you will be confident. There will be speaking within class, but it's not necessarily something you need to worry about. And what's it like in difference to Year 9? Well, of course, it's an increased challenge. It has to be. It's Key Stage 4 and it's a GCSE, but we still cover the same skills and even some of the topics are the same. Another question that I often get asked is, how do I learn all that vocabulary? Well, there are lots of support and strategies and resources to help you. Plus, there are lots of little assessments and little keyword tests so you can build up that vocabulary and build up your confidence. There are some great online apps as well, which we encourage you to download. What if I already speak an additional language? Well, we have a lot of people in school now, a lot of young people who speak English as a second language, and they often worry about taking on yet an additional foreign language. Don't worry, it's actually much easier because you can already pick up the different patterns within the languages. And also, we offer the ability to be able to take an extra GCSE in your spoken language if that's what you want to do. For me, this is the most important thing that people want to know. How does it affect my career and further opportunities? Well, as I said before, many employers are looking for people who can speak another language. This is particularly businesses which are linked to international trade. But of course now with the internet and e-commerce and buying online, lots of businesses need people who can communicate in different languages around the world. Even if you were starting your own business and you decided to sell items through websites such as Etsy, these are all global and you will be able to answer questions in a different language. Once you've learnt one language, it's much easier to learn an additional one. So for example, if you decided to take a GCSE in a different language later on, the ability to do that would be increased by having your GCSE in French. Finally, and for some of you this is vitally important, some of the universities, particularly what we call the Russell groups, which are the top universities such as Durham and Newcastle and Edinburgh and obviously London and Cambridge, etc., and Manchester, all of these universities do require you to have a foreign language, or rather they see it as an advantage. And for some, it is a prerequisite for actually being offered a place. This is why those who are considering university are advised to opt for the EBAC pathway. If you have any further questions or want further information, please feel free to email me on the email below, or speak to your French teacher and your French teacher will be able to advise you as to whether or not they feel you are competent enough to cope with the course for GCSE. However, there's a place for everybody on this course and there's a place for all abilities, so if you want to do it, then please do opt for it. Good luck, more chance, and see you soon. À bientôt.